Attention. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very much. Roll call.
Here.
Alderman Johnson here. Alderman Donovan.
Here.
Alderman Jokers.
Here.
Alderman Jones.
Here.
Alderman Raymond.
Here.
Alderman Prince.
Here.
Alderman Wolfen.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Very good. Alrighty. Have your agendas out in front of you?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that takes us right down to the city administrator's report.
Okay. I got the final easements today for the Chadwell Lane improvements.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
And Spire was not the last one. We will advertise next week. We'll provide notice on the MoDOT website and all the places where you put notices done in Bradstreet. Probably a 2-week period before we accept bids, so probably a 3-week total time before we get bids on it. It's the kind of project that needs an engineer's services because there's compaction and issues that need to be monitored, so I've asked Cochran to prepare a engineering services agreement for that, and that should be available for you next week. Steve will report on the status of the tower, so I'm going to pass on that. Attended with the mayor. Were you at the levy district meeting? No, you were.
Yeah, I'd like to speak about that, if you don't mind. Has everybody been up on that levee?
Yes, sir.
Have you been up there lately?
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of water on the other side of that levee. There's been a lot of water on the other side of that levee for quite a while. With this high water event, now we're expecting and the reason I'm bringing this up is because we get very complacent that things protecting the city. Right now, I would think where the stage is, if you go down to that little gauge down there at the Gauge Park and look at that and follow what the river is, and the river's, I think, right now at about 37 feet, going to 42 feet. If you look on that gauge down there, if the levee wasn't there, you'd see how much water would be right there on Main Street. And the reason I'm saying that is they have these people, they're reactivated the levee patrol, and they're having a hard time getting volunteers. And I think part of the problem is like with everything else, we get complacent because we have a good service, just like with the police. It feels safe all the time, and something that was brought up to the chief that, we need to report really what's going on. We didn't do that consistently, and we're started doing that so people see. And people need to know, and that's what I want to do tonight, is people need to know that, it's important because that water is wanting to get into the city, but we have a great levee and a lot of people that put a lot of work into that down there to maintain it and keep it out. So I'm telling the people, if you want to line up and do some of these patrols, because they're going to start, they've been reactivated, and they'll be back there until that river gets back down to a manageable stage. See, you got to watch for what it's called. Does everybody know what a boil is, a sand boil? Because on the inside of the levee, the water will kind of make its way, and you got to watch for that. And that's what these folks are doing, because if you let something like that go, it gets worse, it gets worse, and it gets worse. So, and it's no need to scare anybody, but that happens. I know in the lower levee down there, they've been fighting a sand boil down there for a long time, and they manage it. So anybody out there want to volunteer, if you want to learn a little bit more about it, Norm and Vern, those guys will give you quite an education. And they're up there up in the park. That patrol is up there, and they're going to start May the 25th. They're going to reactivate
In the park building.
In the park building, and you'll get a good education. He could take you out there on his cart and show you what he's looking for. And anybody that wants to walk a patrol, they're setting up patrols at 4-hour increments, and they walk that levee, and they don't just drive down. They walk. And that levee is 3.1 miles long. So they're out looking day and night for problems.
It's 24 hours.
Yeah, it's 24 hours. So, and even if you don't want to be a part of that, you don't have to be, but go down there and encourage them. Just tell them, hey, thank you for doing what you do, because it's all volunteers. and a lot of volunteers, a lot of citizens do that. You know, it's just incredible.
County people too come.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, just want to state that.
So I've had several communications with PIVA over the building, which we will discuss in closed session. We had twice a year the city administrators from the Southeast region meet to discuss areas of common interest and hear a presentation from somebody on the subject of current concern. I sat through my third presentation on the census. You heard this before, but you know, if the city gets to 5,000 people, according to the U.S. Census, we qualify for funding that we currently are not qualified for. I don't know that we're going to gain 600 people, but I know that an accurate census count is really important, and it's really important to the city, and it's really important to the county. It's important to every county and city in the Southeast region, and that's why they chose to have this guy come talk to us again. We decided from that to put together, usually we only meet every 6 months, to put together an interim meeting, invite the county commissioners, invite other people with the regional councils of government, to try and put together some kind of regional program to educate the citizens on the importance of filling out the census. Lots of people won't. Some people won't out of fear, some people won't out of whatever. And we need to, I think it's incumbent upon us to make whatever effort we can at City Hall to let people know it's safe. Nobody's going to come find you as a result of filling out a census form. All of the employees and the agencies have a Supreme Court decision that says they better keep everything confidential. So you'll hear more about it, but I think they're looking for people. They pay $14 an hour for part-time work. We have a poster up at City Hall. People can come sign up for the census enumerators and take part in the process and get paid for it. The Heritage Commission had a really interesting work session. Didn't have anything on the agenda. They put together a good program for them. Dr. Hoffman from SEMO, Southeast Missouri State University came, who's kind of the guru in historic preservation in the state of Missouri, and a lot of the issues that they've kind of been dealing with, and kind of interpersonally, got hashed out. I thought, and Gary was there. I thought it was a very productive time. We took an hour and a half of just talking about these issues and how you interpret the design guidelines and what do they really mean, and it was good. Very. Again, Steve's going to talk about tower, and all of the staff have now, except I'm still working with the fire chief on putting together their kind of recrafting of their work program as it relates to their budget, and so all that information will be available to me at our next meeting. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Steve?
Good evening, sir.
All right, so I'll start off by talking about the tower. Tower is completely constructed, painted, lettered, and is ready for service. It was actually put into service earlier today. The system out there is running on system pressure from the tower. The tower is working as designed. Pumps are working as designed. We are running them in manual at this point due to we don't have the SCADA system, which are the electronic controls for it. We're running off pressure gauges instead of a computer screen at this point. but everything is working correctly. You may have noticed in the paper this week, I have a fence that's out for bid right now. Like Martin had mentioned earlier to me, the facility needs to be fenced in for a final DNR inspection. That fence is out for bid right now. It's due back June 3rd. But
You have 2 items for second reading. Can you explain why you requested a second reading?
the first one is the addition to our SCADA system from Microcom. Every tower, every building, every facility, booster station that we have is on a computer system that we can monitor from the water plant. We can control the pumps, we can monitor the pressures. This would be the addition of the new tower to our existing system.
Before you leave that expenditure is part of the MRV funds, won't come out of the water department funds.
All right, the second item would be the ultraviolet system at the wastewater plant. That's used for UV disinfection before our effluent water goes to the creek. That system was flooded, well, it's been flooded numerous times. Flash floods, high creek levels, extended floods. We've always managed to fix it and get it through. And I think it was on September 5th or 8th at the end of last year's disinfection season. It became flooded to the point that it was about $130,000 in damage. We had pumps going, we had everything we could do to protect it. We had it, and just wasn't enough that day. So the new bid, the new ones were out for bid, the new system, and that system came from a company called Enviroline. It is a UV system that is designed for flood-prone areas. It's completely submersible, will receive no damage, and all the electronics and controls are above grade. So
I don't want to point any fingers, but why would you put a UV system in that isn't flood-proof?
I wouldn't.
Okay. Why do you think they did? Is it that much cheaper?
Low bid, yeah. Now, after much research, this is the only completely submersible unit that I've found that's on the market.
I have a question, but I'll wait till we get on the thing and I'll ask.
I don't think many of you have been down to our wastewater plant to see the UV system. The UV system is beside the creek in a pit that's 14 feet deep. So most of the time you are down in a hole in the ground at creek level. So.
Steve, is this the only company that does the IO?
That's our current SCADA provider.
Okay.
That's what matches our system. That'll make it single source.
Do they utilize the phone lines or they use satellite?
No, we use two-way radios.
For that?
Yes.
For the SCADA system?
Yeah, there's battery backup. It doesn't rely on the internet, and there's no cellular device or bill.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Sarah?
Good evening, everyone. All right, you have my report in front of you. I just wanted to, for the new members or for those who may not have thought about it for a while, this time of year is the beginning, really, of our tourism season. Generally, for the leisure traveler, it's the heaviest between May and October, and the wineries have kind of extended that into November. And so in the last, the month of April, we had 1,800 plus through the Welcome Center, And in the last 3 weeks, just in students, not including foot traffic, we've had over 1,000 students and adults on tours, which makes for some busy days down there. So sometimes I have to apologize to Martin or the mayor whenever they're trying to get a hold of me, and I can't call them back right away because there's people everywhere. There's always someone on the front desk 7 days a week, and I'm usually right behind the partition there, but when there's a group in town, I mean, you never know what their special needs or requirements are going to be. At the time that I did my report, I just put a placeholder in here that we would be meeting with Tim Good from the National Park Service. So the National Parks had several staff here in St. Genevieve this year. They had a whole agenda for the things they were planning to accomplish. The mayor and I met with Tim Good at the end of his day here, and you know, we sort of caught up about some of their activities, and of course our big agenda item was to review that timeline. Everyone wants to know, when is the national park going to be actually established here? And so Tim reminded us that it's been a project 20 years in the making, and nothing happens quickly with the federal government, and please be patient as they do their due diligence. And so over the next several months, they will be carrying out that due diligence. They will have environmental experts here, they will have historic preservation experts here, and they will have interpretive experts here. And he's going to continue to coordinate with us and let us know, you know, about their dates in, and we'll continue to keep you informed about that. So,
What does an interpretive expert do?
So interpretation is, it consists of the information that you portray to the guest about the structure, the story of the family or the property, interpreting the site.
Putting together
The interpretation, you could think of it as a program, but program usually extends also to activities like junior ranger activities and ranger this, and you know, they might have a special class or something too. Those are usually considered programs, but the interpretation of the site.
Publications are part of a program.
Publications?
Yeah.
They could be. They could be. So interpretation as a catchphrase usually refers to telling of the story of that site, that property, the people, you know, the stories that go along with that site for the guest. And they have obviously experts in that field from all across the gamut of the National Park Service, and we have actively been asking them over these last 18 months to meet with us in advance, because about 10 years ago, all the historic sites got together and did what they call a Chautauqua, which is where everyone gets together and says, here's what I'm saying about my property, here's what I'm saying about mine. We don't need to tell them what a vertical log is 6 times over. We just need to tell them once, and if they've been someplace else, we can move on into the story of this property. So they did that about 10 years ago. It's time to do it again, and we would like to do that again with the benefit of the depth of experience of the National Park Service. So that's what interpretive experts are. And so so we'll continue to keep you posted. The long and short of the pressing on the timeline was it'll probably be sometime this fall, definitely after the federal fiscal year is their best guess for it. I mean, everything could fall into place and we would all be pleasantly surprised if it happened before that, but I think realistically we're probably looking at that. I wanted to just, in light of recent conversations, I wanted to just acknowledge and thank these local merchants who participated in our recent round of Destination St. Genevieve advertising. Just in the last month, a special thanks to Audubon's, the Inn St. Gem Beauvais, a new company, Gaslight Ghost Tours, and Belle Ever After Boutique. So not just reaching out in their marketing efforts to local business, although a lot of their customers are local, but also reaching out to people that are considering coming to St. Genevieve and letting them know that we have this cool little boutique here. Sassafras Creek Originals, if you haven't been there, that's a new business that has opened up down on St. Mary's Road. They took a very nondescript, vacant, historic building and totally made it adorable, and they carry all kinds of French colonial decor and so on there. The French Heritage Festival is also advertising, and I met with the director and assistant director for River Rapids Water Park at the community center, reviewed their marketing plans, told them about our services so that we can mesh with them. Also, I offered to do some training for their staff, because it's possible people might come into the community center or into the River Rapids Water Park, and maybe we can get them to also come into St. Genevieve City. And so they also took out a paid ad in our St. Genevieve special section. So I just wanted all the aldermen to be aware of that. One of the things I did in my last tips for tourism email was I put together kind of a step-by-step guideline for small businesses. Almost all of them are on Facebook. How regularly they post to Facebook is another issue, but almost all of them are active and understand the concept of social media advertising. So we did a step-by-step on either how to add or claim your business or update your profile on Google My Business, Yelp business setup, how to get started, how to update your free listing, TripAdvisor, how to set up or claim your business listing on TripAdvisor. This is in particular important for tourism-related businesses, but if there's any business out there, or if any alderman has a business in their district that is, could benefit from any of these, please, there's the phone number, 883-7097. Please have them call us. We'll be happy to give them a copy or email them a copy of that information, because really it's good for everyone. And I gave that to the director at the community center because the water park could benefit from the same thing. We hosted on May 8th, we hosted or co-hosted a presentation by Bill Hart. He's executive director of Missouri Historic Preservation, and it was about historic preservation tax credits. So for those who own an historic property, it was an opportunity for them to come in and learn about, if you are planning improvements to that historic property, you might be interested to know about historic preservation tax credits. And it's important to know that you don't have to be like in the upper income tax bracket to have a historic preservation tax credit be beneficial to you. What most developers do, most property developers sell their tax credits for 85 cents on the dollar, and this is a revenue stream for them. And then someone who is in the upper tax bracket and needs tax deductions can use those tax deductions on their taxes. So that was on May 8th, and it was co-hosted between Downtown St. Gen and the Foundation for Restoration of St. Genevieve, and we hosted it at the Welcome Center. Last weekend, I'm sure probably many of you were involved or got an opportunity to go out and enjoy Garden Walk. It was Saturday and Sunday. Very well attended, and they block off the street in front of the Welcome Center. That's where their check-in point is. That's where their plant sale is. So it's a very busy weekend. There's also, I reported on this briefly at the last meeting, but there's a new event on June 29th. It's going to be called the 573 Chalk Art Festival, 573 magazine that covers our region. They sponsor these kinds of events around the 573 area code region, and there was a Chalk Art Festival here maybe 10 years or plus ago, and it will be here again in June. And so that will be an exciting event. And then tomorrow night is the Fourth Friday Art Walk at the Welcome Center. We are sponsoring the Art Guild, the students who participated in the plein air painting. So these are little kids that are, well, K through 12 really, that are learning the process of painting in the elements on plein air. And it's a very traditional art form, and especially in a French community, it makes sense. And so they will be on display tomorrow night. So you may have some people from your ward whose little ones are winners in the plein air painting. So come on down to the Welcome Center. That'll be about 6:15 tomorrow night. And, you know, we were just talking about economic development. I've actually met with several local businesses and potential entrepreneurs who are interested in starting new ventures. And so there's been kind of an increase in activity, or interest at least, lately. And so I view that as very encouraging. And you might be seeing a few of those in the months ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief?
Good evening.
Good evening, Chief.
I don't have a tremendous amount of stuff to report. I do have our newest hire, Ashton Tubbs, here with us tonight. He started last night, graduated from the academy last Thursday, and so we're really happy to have him. If you have any questions, I'm sure he would love to come up here and answer them, so.
I don't mind.
He also got married on Thursday. So got that going for him, so.
So you're trying to keep the average size of the force up?
I'm saying, I've not hired too many people smaller than me, so, and that's saying something. So we're happy to have him, and like I said, I think he's gonna work out really well, so we're back to full staff, and like I said, I don't think there's too much more to report. We did get the radios in that we received on the grant, the St. Genevieve County Community Development Grant. So they're in service, and they've been programmed, and so.
Where are you making your home?
Right now I'm in Farmington. I've been there for the past 2.5 years. And I'm not sure where after that.
Yeah. What did you do when they first started out? It's like a training period?
He's in a field training program, so he's with Sergeant McClure for up to 12 weeks. You know, it certainly is dependent on how they progress. If they progress,
Sure.
you know, the officer under Firth that came back last month had worked here for 7 years, so his was just kind of an update on the streets, make sure that he was, just a refresher. So he was back out right away. So, you know, he still has somebody that he can defer to if he has questions, but, you know, we were certainly happy to see him come back, so.
Good deal.
Any questions?
Good to have you on board.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Don't look like there's any public comments. Any committee reports? Alrighty. Takes us to the consent agenda.
I actually had something on the previous meetings of the last minute, or, sorry, minutes of the last meeting, excuse me, on bill number 4281. I believe the vote was 6-1 to 1, and it was posted at 701.
On which one?
42, bill 4281. That was the bill in regards to the medical marijuana situation, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
And I voted no on that, so it'd be 6-1-1.
I remember that.
Well, he wasn't here, so it couldn't have been, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
he's
yep,
the
okay.
extra
Gotcha.
one.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve with that change.
Closed
But
session
we need the
meetings.
closed session.
I was getting a bunch of them. You too, Charlie. Okay.
You have to do a second reading.
Also, on the minutes of the closed session, it was I that was absent, not Smith.
Good thing Pam's on vacation.
Just walk up all this stuff.
You're sitting here going, oh.
Motion to approve with the changes to both the minutes of the open meeting and the closed meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. It takes us to old business. The second reading of bill number 4283, an ordinance amending the City of St. Genevieve Code of Ordinances, Chapter 205, Animals, Article 3, Chickens, Section 205.200, keeping of chickens allowed on all detached single-family lots, as set forth below.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a roll call, please.
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Wolfen.
Yes.
We have 8 yes votes. Bill number 4283 now becomes ordinance number 4214.
Very good. This second reading on this bill number 4284, there's been some discussion, more discussion on this. We had the first reading. This is the one with the,
Normal procedure would get a motion in a second and then have discussion.
okay, for the second reading. Okay, bill number 4284, an ordinance amending the City of St. Genevieve Code of Ordinances, Chapter 405, zoning regulations, Article 2, definition section 405.020, and Article 5, supplementary and special uses and regulations as set forth below.
Can I make a motion to table? So we have David here to answer some more questions.
Okay, you need to table it. You need to specify the time to which you are tabling it, so next meeting?
Next meeting, yes.
Second.
I mean, we could discuss, right? Or should we just wait?
I know you're tabling it, so.
Okay.
We'll discuss it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that a motion? Was there a second?
Yeah.
Seconded.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Very good. Second reading of bill number 4285, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve Police Department and V Academy, the Division of Savant Learning Systems Incorporated, for an online police training in the amount not to exceed $960.
Motion to approve this?
Second.
Have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yeah.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Wolfen.
Yes.
We have 8 yes votes. Bill number 4285 now becomes ordinance number 4215.
Thank you. Takes us to new business, bill number 4286, an ordinance amending the City of St. Genevieve Code of Ordinances, Chapter 500, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 1 in general, Section 500.010, demolition of buildings, permit required, and Article 2, Building Code, Section 500.190, construction permits as set forth below.
Motion to approve?
Hey, quick question.
Well,
On the extension clause of this, will an extension cost? No? Okay.
You get an extension, but if you don't,
Done by
by then you gotta start over again.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay, again, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Takes us to bill number 4287, an ordinance for the allocation of funds received from the passage of Proposition P as a result of the election held on April 2nd, 2019.
Motion to approve.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Takes us to bill number 4288, an ordinance approving a bid proposal for Microcom, Olathe, Kansas, for the purchase of materials and labor to support remote I/O connection to the new Progress Parkway water tower in the amount not to exceed $14,772.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion for second reading.
Second.
Could I have a roll call?
Second.
Alderman Smith.
Yes, please.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yeah.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Wolfen.
Yes.
We have 8 yes votes. Bill number 4288 now becomes ordinance number 4216.
We gotta read it.
We
read it.
gotta read the second time.
We're gonna have a second reading. We just approved the second reading. That's okay.
That's all right.
So we have the second reading of bill number 4288, an ordinance approving a bid proposal from Microcom, Olathe, Kansas, for the purchase of materials and labor to support remote I/O connection to the new Progress Parkway water tower in the amount not to exceed $14,772.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We'll have a roll call vote now. That's what threw her off. 2 roll calls.
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Wolfen.
Yes.
We have 8 yes votes. Bill number 4288 now becomes ordinance number 4216.
Okay. Takes us to bill number 4289, an ordinance approving a bid proposal from RV Wagner Incorporated, St. Louis, Missouri, for the purchase of a new ultraviolet disinfection system in the amount not to exceed $203,750 and amending the sewer fund budget number 31.
Move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I have a question.
He's got discussion.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. We got $203,750, but when you go down here, it doesn't show up. What's the difference?
All right, what do you mean, Jimmy?
Well,
Are
down
you talking
here,
about the 220,
the 203,750.
but that's including that 20,000, the
That's
adopted budget
included,
into
And then we're
it?
gonna take that down to that by that amount, and we're adding 203 to that.
Why are we going to 223 if it's only 203?
Because there was
Because
already
we- yeah.
20,000 in the, or well,
We're starting
budgeted
to-
out, so we were just adding to that 20,000.
What happened to the insurance?
Well, we don't know how much the insurance is going to pay, so we're authorizing the full price, and then we'll only spend what we have to spend after we know what the insurance is going to pay.
No matter what the insurance pays, you'll have to do a budget amendment to include that full price as an expenditure.
Okay.
So what is the insurance on it? I mean, it's just strictly our liability insurance?
No, it's the equipment replacement. We have a schedule of values for all of our equipment, and they're deciding of that value at the waste treatment plant, how much applies to this unit.
So what is the warranty on this one as far as being waterproof, if this is the only one that you could really find?
There is it's a 10-year warranty on the modules, and that's what the water damage is when it gets inside the electrical panels. So technically, it's got a 10-year warranty on the equipment, 1-year manufacturer, 16,000-hour warranty on the bulbs. And I think there's one other piece in there that's got a 3-year warranty.
So this thing you said is like 14 feet down in the ground?
Yes.
So that's the problem with the flooding then?
Most
So
UV
close.
systems are low-lying areas down by creeks and rivers.
Right.
Actually, one question about, I was looking at the bids, what was the reasoning behind the substantial difference between low bid and high bid? Was there any difference at all, or was it?
The difference between the three bids were, low bid was a unit from, it's a calcium carbon unit provided by Enviroline. That same unit was the one that T. Drury was going to bid, exact same unit, same supplier. So you see the price difference between 1 and 2. Those are the exact same units. Third unit was going to be supplied by Aldermen Engineering, and that was the company they left. That was their unit. That unit did not meet bid specs, as it was not submersible, but it was immersible. So it did not meet bid specs.
Thank you.
And it was $100,000.
That's, I was just curious why, thank you.
Even under exclusions on the Wagner bid, it says removal and/or disposal of any hazardous materials. Is that going to be an issue?
No, we'll send the bulbs to a recycling center. They have, recorded lighting.
Thank you.
I don't even know how large these are, but are they removing it or are we keeping the old?
The old unit is made out of stainless steel. There's lots of material there. I mean, it's just scrap metal, but
It'll be removed out and set on the ground.
So we're keeping it for?
Yes.
Okay, I saw that and I want to make sure. Okay. So no removal required, as far as you're concerned?
They'll remove it, with the crane, they're just gonna sit it on the ground, and then we'll take excavator or backhoe and move it to another location.
Okay.
So what do we have? Do we have a motion?
We have a motion.
I made a motion to approve.
And it's seconded.
It was seconded already?
Yeah, motion is second.
Yeah.
This is
We
discussion.
had a conversation, so
All in favor?
All in favor?
Thanks.
Motion for a second reading?
Second.
I have a roll call to have that second.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson?
Yes.
Alderman Donovan?
Yes.
Alderman Jokers?
Yeah.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Rainey?
Yes.
Alderman Prince?
Yes.
Alderman Wolfen?
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll have the second reading on bill number 4289, an ordinance approving a bid proposal from RV Wagner Incorporated, St. Louis, Missouri, for the purchase of a new ultraviolet disinfection system in the amount not to exceed $203,750, and amending the sewer fund budget number 31.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Okay. Have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson?
Yes.
Alderman Donovan?
Yes.
Alderman Jokers?
Yeah.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Rainey?
Yes.
Alderman Prince?
Yes.
Alderman Wolfen?
Yes.
We have 8 yes votes. Bill number 4289 now becomes ordinance number 4217.
Thank you. Is there any other business? I would like to entertain a motion to go into closed section for real estate.
I make a motion to go into closed session to talk about real estate.
Second.
We'll have a roll call vote.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson?
Yes.
Alderman Donovan?
Yes.
Alderman Jokers?
Yes.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Rainey?
Yes.
Alderman Prince? Alderman Wolfen?
Yes.
Thank you.